Hey guys, how's it going? I'm doing a video here today, mostly improv, so no script, none of that normal nonsense. Only because the hype for Pax Day is kicking up, and mainly because I'm a greedy bastard and I want to capitalize. Either way, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today specifically, I want to go over a bit of what I find passionate about Pax Day, because everybody has gone over what is Pax Day. Everybody has gone over it. You've heard the spiel already. But what I want to talk to you is something important and I consider a problem in the MMORPG genre, which, if Pax Day releases, should theoretically fix. You see, most MMO genres have been focused towards one type of player, that PvE and PvP player, that classic player that has always been around since 1990. And ever since 1997, which was officially when the word MMORPG became a thing, the game genre has been mainly a spin-off of the RPG genre, which has been a dungeon delver, high-action combat kind of game. And so they slapped the MMO on there, and that's how it's been running for the last decade or so. However, Pax Day has come around with an interesting and fresh new take. I know we've heard that line said about 1,000,000 times when it comes to other games, but they did come up with something new. They have new concepts, new ideas, and something incredibly mind-shattering. And we're going to go over a few of those things here today. Starting off with the most important and by far the biggest ever change in MMORPG genre, the focus on the casual players. Now, I know that MMORPGs have had the casual marketplace in some realms, but they've always been either casual or hardcore. You're not in the middle. There is no middle ground. It is purely for the casual or the hardcores. But they're not doing that. They're building the middle ground. They're building both sides. They're building both casual playstyle and the hardcore playstyle, and enabling both players to pursue either one of those. And in doing so, they've created probably one of the most complex and interesting crafting systems and processing systems that even Ashes of Creation was playing around with in the early. But they switched it for a more safer, more reliable route for the more hardcore players. They don't like casual MMORPGs, so they went the hardcore route. Fine. They do what they want to do. They throw their game down the toilet. Let's talk about Pax Day, because they have done something absolutely incredible, something I have never expected them to do. And they did it. They are bridging the gap, and finally, for the first time in forever in MMORPG, you can purely do whatever you want. I'm not saying you have to do a thing and then do a thing on the side if you want to do that thing. No, you can focus. Anything you want. You want to roleplay? Okay, roleplay. What are you roleplaying? You want to be a baker? Fucking baking your main thing. That is what they said over and over again in the Discord chat, and it makes me so incredibly excited because finally we're getting the RPG back in MMORPG. Now, another thing I did hear about is the crafting mechanics. The crafting mechanics. My God, in MMORPGs, we all know how boring and tedious those have been. Now, there are some people who are like, oh, well, this has been good. There were a few exceptions, obviously. There is always going to be a few exceptions. Someone out there is going to make a crafting system that is going to blow people's minds. But for the first time, at least that I've seen, finally, we're having a more involved and impressive crafting mechanic, at least according to what the devs have been saying. The trailer doesn't do it any justice. It doesn't show us any of the crafting mechanics, and they've been dead silent on it. Aside from a few notable details, which I have been tracking for the last few days, on how crafting exactly is going to work. First of all, we know items are fully customizable. And yeah, while you might not be able to customize the physical outline, the colors and everything within the outline, you can change. You could change the metal, you could change the fabric, you could change the finish, everything. Everything can be changed. But what is more interesting is that processing components could also potentially change the finished product, which means no two leathers are exactly the same. And when I mean involved, I mean getting your hands in there. Right now, the standard is a menu with a button and a slider where you can set how many you're intending to craft, and you just AFK for about 6 hours. That is what the standard is today. However, another thing some mods have already talked about is talking about what kind of type of crafting. And Halfari, a mainframe developer, has already brought some light to what we're going to expect and see from Pax Dei. He mentions that there are going to be different types of crafting. You're going to have your action and skill-based crafting, and then you're going to have your time and process-based crafting, which is real-world time. Now, it's curious that they would say those things because they don't mean anything by themselves, but with all the information we have previously, this points to a different mechanic than shown in the trailer. A way different mechanic. Action/skill-based. Skill-based, I understand. You could say your stats affect the way the end gear is crafted. But why put action in there? Why is action/skill-based there? What kind of action-based crafting system? Why would you put that there? Unless, however, they have a mechanic in the work or being worked on which can make it so when you're crafting, you are physically doing more than pressing a button. You are either adding items in the one end or the other. You're adjusting or changing the process somehow in some special way, which can create different and desired outcomes. Which is mind-blowing if that's the case. I hope it's the case. I really do. I want an MMORPG where being a baker doesn't feel goddamn boring. Where being a blacksmith, I can make a weapon that I'm truly proud of. And if I can't do that, then I don't want to be a part of this game. Well, no, just kidding. I'm still going to probably play it. It sounds amazing regardless. Even if I can't do what I want to do, I'm still going to run my clan, and I am still going to go in there, and I'm going to explore the wide goddamn world. The world is massive, by the way, while we're on it. I can't even go about how big the world is. They don't have a number, but we do know that the main starting area is 100 kilometers squared. I don't know how big that is, but that sounds really fucking big for a world. Not to mention the server size. Don't even get me started on the server size. The server size is 20,000 people. Split up among shards, but still, 20,000 people in one entire instance in different small set servers. Oh boy. The game's going to be amazing. But it gets even better. They decided to take the socials aspect and dig down into it, like really deep into it. They decided that, you know what, times have changed. Dungeons are no longer instances. They are not going to be instances. You can't just party up and run into it and be the only ones in the dungeon. That ain't realistic. That ain't social enough. They said, nah. You can go into a dungeon, as with your party, but there are going to be other parties there trying to clear that dungeon at the same time. You're going to have to compete with them and the monsters. And assuming you're going to have to deal with different mechanics in a dungeon that you normally wouldn't have to deal with outside in the overworld. Right now, they're only looking at positive benefits, but it has not been denied there's going to be negative benefits for eating food and drinks. There might be a negative benefit for not doing so, but there's always going to be a benefit for eating them. I think is so far what the consensus is. But you will have to clear that dungeon, and it's going to be incredibly hard because PvP seems incredibly difficult. Because you're not going to have levels, you're not going to have classes, and you're not going to level up and unlock a new skill. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to your casual players, which goes back to the beginning when I said they're building the bridge between casual and hardcore players. You're going to have to go back to your casual players who are probably in the Heartland making items and weapons for you, and you're going to have to hand them some gold from your physical stash. You hand them some gold. They give you a weapon. You take that weapon. You go to the dungeon. You fight the dungeon. You lose. You die or something. You lose those items. Fine. Okay. You come back to the Heartland. All right. You come back to the Heartland. You buy a new set of weapon. Money gets pumped into the economy. It is so incredibly exciting, and I am so incredibly hyped to try out Alpha in the next coming months. And I'm so interested to see what they're going to do with crafting, and I really hope they're not going to just choose to play it safe on this one. Any innovation of any kind will make me glad. What else is there about Pax Dei to speak about? I mean, we don't know much, and coming Tuesday, we'll have a giant lore drop, and then coming after that, we'll have a PvP questionnaire thing, which I assume is going to be way down the line because PvP is not done yet in the current game. They've been focusing on the more core components like building. Oh yeah, building is a thing. It's a thing, and it's going to be an amazing thing. They're probably going to explain PvP at some point. But for now, once we get back to where they can answer more crafting questions, oh boy. But right now, lore's coming up soon, and I can't wait to talk about the lore of Pax Dei. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and figure out how to edit this video together in something entertaining and watchable. I'm probably going to steal the Pax Dei video and mute it, or take clips and put them in where I think is proper. However, I'll see you guys around, and thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked and want to watch more of these kind of videos coming up on Pax Dei, go ahead and give me a sub. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys later, and enjoy!